What a
Hello.
long journey. We're so
Hey.
excited.
What a beautiful theme song. Thanks for that, Katie.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Like I said, big community theater energy.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Welcome, everyone, to this evening's edition of Small Things Con, which is the, what did we end up naming it? It's the Team Granger Action Call.
Yes.
Because this is a workshop where we are going to be taking action all together right now here on the internet. And you will leave this workshop having done work to make our elections healthier, safer, better, etc. So we're very excited about that. Also, I mentioned this as part of Small Things Con. If you're unfamiliar with Small Things Con, this is the HPA's first ever totally free virtual convention that is going on right now through next week. So we've got more workshops coming up next week, which we are very excited about. And yeah, it's just been fun. We have a playlist. Sorry, my cat is trying to get into the studio here. We have a playlist.
Well, can you let it in, please?
And we've got it covered. Like, and there she is right there. And she'll likely make an appearance because this is one of my favorite things when people reveal what is their camera stand. This is my camera stand that I'm using. You'll recognize it as a cat podium. So
that's actually genius.
Yeah, it's nice. It puts it at a really nice height. And the cat comes to visit me frequently. So we can look forward to all of that. Yeah, if you are watching, we have a chat, which I think is over here. It's hard to tell when you're inside the box where it is, but I think it's over here. And you should come in the chat and chat with us.
Why don't we, I'm curious. So this is the second one of these calls, right?
Yeah.
The other time I was just being annoying in the chat, which everyone should aim to be.
Now you can be annoying IRL.
Yeah, now I'm here. I decided I was going to describe myself as one of the campaign advisors to Hermione. Cool. One of the senior campaign advisors. I just added senior to it, so it sounded even more official.
Congratulations.
Anna gave herself a promotion on it.
Yeah, I just think we should all lean in. Yeah. But like still 6 feet apart. So I would do like 7 feet and then lean. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I gotcha.
But so this is the second one of these, right? What happened last week?
Last week was really like kind of a check-in and like see how everyone was feeling and see like what is and what is mutual aid, and talking about like how to set up mutual aid in your communities. And you know what? This isn't the second one. This is the third one, because the other one we had was with your coworker from the ACLU and our Friends Protect Democracy, and we were talking about what are all the different actions that we can take to be helping make our elections safer and more accessible and healthier. And that was really like that one was super informative, and like there was a ton. It left me feeling very hopeful, because I think right now, for a long time, everything has sort of felt like everything happening in the world is really big, and we can't necessarily do a lot to change it. And now it feels like that times 5 million.
Yeah. What was it?
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I was going to say, what was it? Someone said that it's like it's like in year 3 Harry Potter that Harry's like, oh my gosh, this feels like the worst. Like there's this dog following me around and haunting me. And like I had to go back in time to save someone from like an execution, like all these horrible things. And then it's like year 4, it's like, forget that, like Cedric's dead. The Dark Lord's back. Like you thought that was bad. Like this is about to get real bad. That's what I feel like in the past. We were living in year 3 and now it's like, oh crap. Cedric said now.
Checks out.
Yeah. But there's still hope.
There is still hope. And that was one of the things that the call with the ACLU and Protect Democracy really kind of drove home for me, is that there's still a lot that we can do. And there's still a lot of like good and positive things that can come out of everyone sort of having to rethink how we live in the world and how we live in a society. And so I am super excited for like that kind of stuff. And I'm excited to help people try and do some advocacy right here tonight. So I'm going to tweet out that we're starting and stuff, but Janae and Anna, you want to tell people a little bit more about what we're going to do tonight?
Yeah. So we are going to do some action live with everyone in the comments. So we kind of talked about this last week on the call. Talked about, how can we be working through making sure that our elections are safe so that people are still able to vote and feel comfortable voting. What can we do with that? And one of the things that our friends at Protect Democracy and ACLU had suggested was getting in touch with your local city councils and sending actual like recommendations and instructions for like, here's what we should be doing. Please take this information. So if you tell us where you're at in the comments, we're actually gonna like help each person who wants to do this evening, or if you want to like chill and watch and like watch it later, that's cool too.
I can do a share screen. Well,
yeah. Yeah.
Well, I can model it.
Yeah, so we're actually just going to like walk exactly through that process, and hopefully this is helpful for folks. We can do a lot of action as Team Granger, really trying to make sure that, that this doesn't get in the way of democracy as much as possible, really trying to help that out. Yeah, Anna, any other thoughts as our
I kind of want for folks who are in the chat, you can kind of comment to this. I'm like curious, like, have you voted before, or do you and your family go to vote? And sort of every state, because something I want to make sure everyone takes away is like every state is different. I work for the ACLU, and we're always looking at different policies in different states and different cities. And something I always come away with is like every single area, every single jurisdiction is a special snowflake. So as I was thinking about how people can find their secretaries of state or their city councils, it just reminded me that not every state has a secretary of state, or not every, I'm pretty sure it's only 28 states have secretaries of state. The rest of them, they have commissions that are appointed by the governor, or some of the time they're appointed by the state legislature. It differs. It's like so different. And sometimes people have county clerks, and other times people have like county election committees, and sometimes they have both. And something that reminded, it just like made me think like about the nature of democracy, and how like every area is written so different, because the people who wrote all the rules like really had no idea what they were doing. And I think that there's a power there that like they didn't know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. So like we don't have to know what we're doing. Like we should be the ones to mess things up. Like we should be the one if they messed it up, and they messed up in a lot of really big ways, right? Like founders and whoever, then we should be the next ones. Like there shouldn't be a pressure to be perfect. There should be just the impetus that like, maybe it should be us. Like this idea that like the Ministry of Magic is messed up. Like it really is. There's no sign that anyone's ever elected. Like it's very confusing. And the order is like, they're not handling this. Like maybe it's our turn. And like maybe they'll succeed or maybe they won't, but like at least they tried. And that's kind of what I want us to feel going into this, which is that like we have the opportunity to try to make the whole country and even down to our locality like safer, more fair, more just, and more democratic. And I really think that we can like create a thriving democracy that's really never existed in the United States. And this is one part of it. So I kind of wanted to say that to pump people up. Yeah. And I'm glad to say there are some people who have voted already. Some people will probably be voting for the first time, or maybe they've seen friends or family vote, or just know the importance of it. And I always think of like going and standing in line at the polls and all those kinds of things, and thinking about, okay, how can we make this safer during a pandemic?
Yeah. And we know that a lot of states are trying to work on that. They have like moved their primaries or moved local elections to like early in the summer. And hopefully that will be a time when we can all go out and vote and do all those things. But there are lots of other things that that they can be doing. So yeah, should we talk briefly about like what those things are, and then we can dive into like doing the research and finding out who to send this stuff to?
Yeah, that sounds great. Would you like me to talk about it?
Oh yes, that would be great.
Okay. And it's like, is that my cue?
Is that right? So so yeah, basically last week, I believe it was. It only seems like 12 years ago. Seems like a whole child's lifetime ago. We talked with the ACLU, Molly from the ACLU, and Sarah and someone else. I'm sorry. From what?
Genevieve.
Awesome. From Protect Democracy. And something that the folks at Protect Democracy mentioned was this National Task Force on Election Crises, which is a nonpartisan task force dedicated to ensuring a free and fair 2020 general election by recommending responses to a range of different election crises. Some of those might be interference by other entities. Some of those might be, I don't know, a global pandemic. So they recently released a list of recommendations for both state and local election officers, or anyone that has like a hand in power. And as I just said, it's varied, but you will find the person who does it. Like, this is the thing about government, is like, if you email someone and you're like, you can do this, and they're like, no, but you should be talking to this person, you will find that person. So I'm just saying, it'll be fine. But they have a list of recommendations, some for state officials and some for local, that are really useful in terms of a safe and fair election. It has to do with some things you can do are enhance the availability of absentee ballot request or application forms. Some states will require you to have an absentee ballot request form. So it's literally things like put a PDF available for download on your website so that people can print it and download it, or maybe even submit it online, like that, depending on your state's laws. Some of these suggestions seem simple, but they can be really impactful. Another one is recruiting additional poll workers, both during the actual day, but also beforehand, to count absentee ballots. We're expecting a whole bunch more absentee ballots this year, as people are just like unenthused about going in person to a polling site. And so that's when absentee ballots come into play. Some states have where you have to have an excuse to get one. Some states where you don't have to. But there will be a lot of people voting absentee or by mail. And everyone should be encouraged to do it. It's great. My mom votes absentee every year. She says she's going on vacation. Should not expose her like this.
Or are you exposing something?
She always said she's going on vacation, then she goes like 2 weeks early to vote. She's like, there's never anyone there. I never have to wait in line. Anyway.
Beautiful.
That's in Missouri. So they have excuse absent. You need an excuse, and she's always said she's traveling. I think that yeah. Okay, so Begonia is saying that their state is all by mail, or her state is all by mail. Washington, yeah, there are some states like Washington, Oregon, and Colorado that are all by
Arizona.
mail. Really?
Yeah. Yeah, actually,
I can't believe Arizona is by mail.
I know, this is always my thing. I'd have to fact check if it's the whole state or just my county. I don't know if that's possible for just be my county, but this is always my argument for people. Is I'm like, listen, Arizona has a national reputation for being very obsessed with like citizenship and stuff, and we have mail-in ballots. It's like this should be a thing across the country. If Arizona can do it, everybody else can do it.
Yeah, I'm looking this up. Yeah, y'all have a permanent early voting list, which allows a voter to automatically receive a ballot by mail for every election they're able to vote in. So that's like y'all have vote by mail. I'm sure you also have like in person.
Yeah, we also do in person still, so it's not totally by mail, like you can choose the option, but like it's not like an absentee thing where you have to do it like every time. It's once you sign up for it, like I haven't changed my status in like 3 elections now. Like it's it just stays that way forever.
That's awesome. And like Colorado is that way too. I think they do it I'm not sure how different states do it different ways in terms of who's on that list, but it's a good idea to make sure that you are. And then and I know way more about Colorado elections, so other people can speak to those states, like Washington, Oregon, Arizona, and others. But for Colorado, they have like 24-hour drop-off sites. So you get sent your ballot, and then you can drop them off in like a bunch of different places, just like whenever you want. And then they're collected by the county for counting. And there are voting centers. So in case you need help filling out your ballot, or your ballot's incorrect or whatever, then you can always go and see someone in person. And that's also really helpful for people who need like a ballot that has Braille, or they need someone to read the ballot to them. So that's really important. It's really important to have in-person voting available as well for that reason, but also in a lot of reservations, there aren't addresses. So people will share PO boxes and things of that nature. So it's really important to have in-person voting sites, or else it would disenfranchise like huge groups of people, especially Indigenous people.
Yeah, this is actually like a cool thing right now. One of our former keynote speakers for Granger Leadership Academy when we held it in Tucson was Gabriela Cesaris Kelly, who's from the Thana-Otham Nation, and she gave an entire speech about voting rights and talking about some of those challenges on reservations. And she is now actually running for Pima County Recorder, which is really cool. Yeah, so 501c3, no endorsements, but like it is cool that somebody like talked about that like in a talk, and is kind of part of an alum of our community that way, is now like taking some of those steps. So it's been really cool to see.
I have been waiting to be able to celebrate the first wizard activist in office, and the first elected wizard activist, and because I know it's coming, because we have so many people in our community who are just like very smart, very driven people, like really care deeply about the world, and like just having the like belief in oneself that you should be in office and be empowered to like be helping lead your community in that way, I think is like that's the secret sauce right now. And so like we've got those people. So I'm excited. So if you are a wizard activist who's running for office or thinking about it, let us know. We won't be able to endorse you, but we will be able to celebrate if you win.
Yeah, I would say like also I follow a few different elected officials on Twitter, and I'm always seeing Summer Lee, who's a representative in Pennsylvania. She's always tweeting about Harry Potter, and so is Sarah Innamorato. And I've reached out to them. I'm like, please, can I talk to you about how Harry Potter has influenced your journey of politics?
Yeah, I really like that.
Interview.
I like that, the way you phrase that, Katie, of we can't endorse you, but we can celebrate you. Sorry, our official system.
Also a great example of how like, I just, like, as you're saying, I'm like, Arizona has recorders. Those are the folks that run that help run the elections, whereas other people have county, like Colorado's county clerks. So another example of every area being a special snowflake.
Yeah. So let's speaking of special snowflakes in every area, let's get
down to business.
Yeah, did you have a thought, Katie? Get down to business?
Did they send me daughters when I asked for sons? No, sorry. I'm excited for the Mulan theatrical release, which I feel confident will be the Mulan straight to your streaming device release.
Yeah, I really hope so. I know that like my fave is problematic. I mean, for so many reasons, this stuff but like also I love Mulan. Like that was my 10th birthday party.
Yeah,
so good.
Mulan was my favorite Disney movie as a kid. I was very ecstatic that she was the best because she was the only princess that got to do stuff. Now they all get to do stuff, which is very exciting. But at the time, Mulan felt like a revolution.
It was nice. The emperor seemed nice in there, but unfortunately, I didn't seem like he was elected. So back to democracy reform.
It was problematic. The emperor wasn't elected.
That was a transition.
Oh man!
Especially the emperor's assistant. You got to watch out for those appointed positions. That'll get you.
Exactly. Not everyone's as nice as that emperor.
Speaking of unique and special snowflakes across the country, I want to share a link that one of our chapter organizers, Brian, just shared with us, which is a nice kind of long list on different pending bills in everyone's different states, or they're not all pending. Some of them are enacted, some of them are like waiting for the governor to sign off, but you can kind of see some of the things that might be happening in your state, specifically around your upcoming elections and around COVID-19. So that can also help you in reaching out to elected officials, which we're going to do. Right.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. I'm like, oh, we should do a similar letter to state legislators. Let me just whip that up real quick.
Yeah. So here's what we're gonna do. If you go to this link, which I guess I did still have on my clipboard, there it is in the comments. This is the letter we're going to use. Also has like general instructions at the beginning, and so we're going to go through step by step exactly how to look this stuff up, like one by one. Let's Google all these things, and then send some letters this evening.
Someone is in the dock right now as anonymous Wolverine, but I'm really tired and I read it incorrectly as wholesome Wolverine.
That's Janae, I think. So correct.
Oh, well, now there's
Incredible.
lots of animals in here, so I don't even see wholesome Wolverine anymore. So
I made it you only. It's okay.
we're all animals. All right, let's figure this stuff out. Who should we start with?
As a Kiwi, yeah. Tell us if you want to be the first one, and if you want to be a practice.
Should one of us be the first one?
Sure.
That's a great idea, Katie.
All right. Does that mean I just volunteered myself?
Yeah, it sure does.
I wonder what tab you have up. That's every time I go to share screen, I'm like, this is gonna be embarrassing.
I feel good about this actually because I am in the smallest town out of folks who are watching. And so like I feel confident that while my elected officials are probably like looking into things, they don't have like the resources that bigger cities do, and they don't have as much time to like our council is not in session as frequently as a bigger town would be, and so this is something that I feel like they probably don't have a lot of things I'm about to send them.
And they're definitely gonna answer you.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, I feel super confident about that.
Yeah. We should also say that, like, if you are reading these instructions and you want to get a head start, go ahead. Like, feel free to kind of do it along with us, and tell us in the comments how it's going, and then we'll kind of go through and troubleshoot. Like, if anybody,
let us know if you're having any issues. If you find out that, like, I don't know, there's like an election wizard who runs things, and they're appointed by a sorcerer.
That's the goal of this session. So like, if you open up the letter, go ahead and start the steps and just tell us in the comments what struggles you run into, if any, and then we will workshop those with you right now and sort it out. We have a bunch of volunteers who can look up information with you and figure it out. And we'll go through every single person who wants to do that in chat. So everyone can all begin together. We'll watch Katie do it live for inspiration. I will also do it while we're here.
Clearly, Hermione clearly here has suggested a search engine search, because that's really, I mean, it will get you there as quick as possible, but there are other ways to find your elected officials.
I go down to the park diner at the end of my street because that's the full-time job that our city councilor has.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
Should I share my screen? I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
There's some pretty
would.
These tips on screen sharing are amazing. Screen sharing works best on a good computer.
Yeah, so we should all go.
We're gonna give it a whirl. Wait, hold on. What's this? Some screens let you share your audio. Well, there's not gonna be any. So
unless there's a song on the governor's website. I'm imagining somewhere out there. I bet in a small town.
You ready for some Inception? Here we go. Look at that.
Wow. Oh my God. That is Inception.
All right. So see here. We have, I also want to point out, if Sarah Mortensen watches this video at any point, I have only 4 tabs at the top of the monitor because I took them out of the 42 tab window I had and just minimized that. Anyway,
we're so proud.
I'm going to go over here. Should I, I think I'm going to do city. Should I do city council or county council?
Sometimes there are county commissions, sometimes there are county councils.
What are our council people? I'm going to do city council because I know for sure.
Yeah, and they'll get you to the right place. Like all of these folks, by the way, have constituent services people. Like that's their main job. So even if you haven't email the right person for those requests, they will be like, "Hi, we'll helpfully connect you to this person." And you're just a constituent. Like, you are just, fighting the good fight. Like, it's their job to know what they do.
Yeah.
So here's our city council website. Really quite lovely. Here's all our city councilors right there. I'm very excited because this one is my friend, and this is her first term that she got elected, and she's real cool people.
Celebrate.
Yeah, she's already elected. But my council member is this guy, Joe.
What does he burn?
What does he burn?
Joe burns what? Incense.
Look. So I got a contact form that I can just like pop right up here.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. All right, let's see. So I'm going to take my little letter over here. Nope, that's Hermione's letter. I'm not going to copy that one.
No, that would be plagiarism.
I'm going to copy this right here. I live in a truly strange, well, it's not strange, like people all over, people all over live in this.
You have to edit, so you should go up.
What? Yeah, I'm going to it.
You have to edit. So this is, do you want to start with your name, and then we can go through the different things you have to edit?
Oh, yeah, sure. So at the bottom, I signed my name. So, there you go.
That was a good one. Everyone. That was
perfect.
That's a good
and
tip.
Then here,
don't put someone else's name.
Yeah. How do you spell counselor? Counselor? Is it 2 L's?
Sometimes I'm like, or is it, sometimes I just write council member. Sometimes what I'll say.
Oh, council member. It looks like 1 L. So there's a service I provided for everyone this evening. We have a subject line already.
Do you mind if I just answer a question really quick that came in from the chat? Jamie asks, do I need to send an email if my state says they're moving the primary, and we'll do it, quote, predominantly by mail, but doesn't say how they're going about that? Yeah, I do think it's still important to send the email, because there are a lot of recommendations in there that aren't site specific that are also involved in mail voting. Things like, for example, states that vote a lot by mail, their results come in slower than everywhere else. And that's important for folks to know, that it's not that the election is rigged. It's just that they have to count all the votes that come in by mail. So that's a public education thing. Also, they should be hiring more folks to count and verify those ballots. And they should be planning on that. Also, for a local elected official, if you're in a state that usually doesn't do vote by mail in a very serious way, but is turning to that, localities can usually often set up drop-off boxes, even if the state hasn't provided guidance for it. Which will increase turnout and ease of voting. So I think that there's still a lot of recommendations that would apply. Thanks for asking, Jamie.
Yeah. I am also a question I got through Discord. This is a different kind of counselor. That kind of counselor is like camp counselor or like guidance counselor.
Maybe this person is both.
Perhaps. So I realized this form won't copy hyperlinks, so I'm just going through and adding the links in. So if you find that's how
maybe we should make a bit.ly for this link for the PDF. Make it shorter.
Oh, yeah. Well, probably a good idea. One of you do that. I'm filling out my
Oh, yeah, no.
Taking part in democracy right now.
Begonia's asking, what about places that have already been doing vote by mail for a good while now? Is there stuff in there for them? I think some of the stuff you were sharing already, Anna, also kind of applies to that, right?
Yeah, like some of the things, for example, they still might get people in voting centers. They should have more of them than usual to make sure that they're spreading out the number of people who are in one at any one time. There are recommendations for curbside service in there, which might also help for voting centers. And there's some recommendations that the CDC has outlined and that are linked in the task force recommendations that are like moving voting centers a little further away from like nursing homes and centers for the aged so that there's not as much of a risk. Actually, some are actually located in those places, so like not having them there.
And I'm looking at the kind of bullet points in the letter, and I think for somewhere that's only vote by mail, you could probably just kind of like delete some of the things that obviously don't apply. But things like recruiting additional poll workers, like they still have to count all of those ballots. So that is still a thing. And then like sanitation supplies for those poll workers, like that kind of stuff still applies for the staff that actually has to deal with the mail-in ballots. So I would just kind of like delete the ones that are obviously just for places where everything's in person or most things are in person, but keep in the ones that make sense for those poll workers. And then also, again, keeping in mind that like, even though you are mail-in, you might want to double check and see if you do have a couple locations for folks who like are using Braille and that sort of thing, because that might still apply for those.
Or translation services too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that there are just like a whole host of different recommendations in there that I think would be really helpful. And some of them are just for more secure elections, not only about COVID guidelines. So I think that that could be helpful. And I encourage you to like look through the document. It's pretty hefty, but it's good. I think, oh goodness, what was I thinking? Yeah, you could also replace polling location with the word voting center. I think a lot of people, because voting center is a little bit different. Polling location has to do with like a precinct, like a specific geographical area where you have to go to the specific location. While a voting center, you can go and like you can go to like any of the voting centers in your county or whatever. It's a little bit more open.
So
should
I came back because I'm about to press go on my letter, and I just want everyone to cheer for me.
So
did you press it?
Council member Burns or whatever, and then you put your name. I saw you changed it from Best to Warmly. Do you want to talk about how you made that decision?
I mean, we close. We're going to interact with each other. I feel like Best is a little standoffish. I feel like Warmly implies, we're neighbors. Let's hang out sometime. But, like 6 months. Here, I'm gonna enter.
Tell us when you hit the button.
I'm gonna enter my not a robot code, and then I'm gonna go. Ready? Here we go.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
Yay!
Yay! Amazing.
That's very exciting.
Thank you.
I think should I share my screen for a hilarious example of how you might have to dig through websites a little bit?
Yeah, I think
I have found a real good one.
Walk through that. Yeah.
Yeah, mine was very straightforward. So show us something that's a mess.
Yeah, since they all do their own website design separately, it's a trip. Once I worked with the candidate who like their homepage was like a giant YouTube video where they pronounced their name over and over again. I was like, this is not going to work for you.
So can you all see that?
Oh yeah.
Is it showing up? Okay. So Katie Hobbs is our Secretary of State. Yeah, so I was just pulling up like our governor has a pretty good, like it was right here, very easy to find this little form. And for some reason, the Secretary of State, I went to contact us, and there's just a list of mailing addresses. and phone numbers. And so I looked around, and if you go to other webmaster,
Oh my god! Wait.
you find a form to submit a message.
Yeah.
And then you have to answer a math question. So I want you all to know that if you also are finding these, you're not alone. Get a little creative in what you click around for.
I really like that math. Like, obviously, math question is to make sure you're not a bot, but I
Yes.
love that it's just labeled math question.
Math question. It's not like anti-bot or anti-spam. It's just math question
This
with
is our
no other
one question
explanation.
survey on how the Arizona Education Department is
Okay.
doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
To be fair, I'm on this website. You're supposed to use the contact form so the outline is for each. It opens up a different contact form for each link. So what you're about to do is email the webmaster for the website.
Oh no! So
what you can do. So you can
Where's
do.
an email form?
So go back to the press back.
See, this is why this is a good screen.
Okay, scroll up a little bit.
Yeah.
And you see where it says click one of the below departments to open up a contact form. So you could click collections.
See, this is exactly what we're doing, coaching. Once I had gone through the category, let's see what categories I could have done for the webmaster. I bet I would have sorted this out. I actually looked at. Oh, okay.
The least helpful person when you're talking about how to make in-person voting.
I still would have been confused because elections is on this list for the webmaster.
Yeah, that would be confusing. That is confusing.
This is exactly why we're doing this silly stuff. Because
listen, we're tired. This is real. This is real and unfiltered and unedited footage. This is raw footage.
It's real though, because it's like Katie's saying, this is why we're doing this, because the unfortunate thing about the United States of America is that none of our systems are standardized. So literally just trying to figure out where to go for these things is wild. And I think it really does turn people off sometimes, you have these things it's just do this. You're like, well, easier said than done, my friend, because let me dig through where these things are.
In some senses, though, finding this contact information is a journey and an adventure, and you have to hack through. It's a quest, and you have to hack through web pages that are in your way in order to get to that contact form.
You have to think back to what was the mindset of 1998? How would they have designed?
Even though it was built in 2019, but
yeah, but it was still built on Angel Fire, and that's the problem.
I do want to do a shout out to our Discord as well, where Brian is doing a great job helping solve some of these questions that viewers are having as well. Nice. If you're part of the HPA Discord community, you can hop into there.
We've got a banner for that.
Yeah,
there we go.
There it is. You can
there it is.
Totally easy link. It's just discord.gg/YK.
Yeah, it's very simple. Tell us in the comments how it's going. Has anybody else sent anything yet? I'm about to email our governor in Arizona.
Perfect. I'm emailing our county legislators, and it is with sort of a little bit of embarrassment that I'm realizing that the person I thought was my county legislator very much isn't. So now I'm trying to figure out who is.
This is it's a really good reminder that it's important to know who your elected officials are, but also they might change. Sometimes people die and they get replaced, and you don't know. So or they go to prison or resign.
This is what happened.
No,
think
it really does. I'm
definitely.
probably not with this person. I'm just thinking
Oh,
when I
yeah.
used to do a lot of special elections, of course it's special. So like, it's not like someone just like ended their term or whatever. It was like, I would say 8 out of 10 times it would be someone who like was like charged and convicted of like embezzling.
Perfect. I want to show I'm looking up.
What a beautiful country.
This is exactly what we were talking about. Of just think about if your map was, or if your website was designed in 1998. How I find my legislator, and unfortunately, I don't live in any of these like big obvious areas. I live down in this area, so I'm trying to.
Don't dox yourself. Unshare your screen and then you can enter your address at the side. But unshare so you don't get all the. It's awkward to have all the love mail.
Just put in the HPA's PO box and sort it out from there.
Oh gosh. So wait. So we have a question that is there a shorter link that you can copy? And the answer is yes. I think that we can. Have we done a bit.ly link?
Yes, we have. It is bit.ly/COVID elections. Why was that available? Because this work needs to be done and we're the ones doing it.
Oh, I think she's asking
the PDF.
The PDF resource that we're having to like put in the link for the forms that.
Yeah. Can we ask someone in the Discord? This goes out to you, volunteers. Can someone please make a bit.ly for the PDF that we can link to instead? In my mind, by the way, when we celebrated you for sending that email, I thought about Animal Crossing with the like party poppers. Like we have to have a ceremony.
Yes. Hold on. Now I've looked up my district. I now know which district I'm in. No, that's the election district. This is so confusing.
Why don't you walk me through it?
Okay, I found it. Okay. So I found it, and now I'm going to click on elected officials. It's a pop-up, and it blocked it. Fantastic. Okay.
Anna, I'm going to give this to you so you can comment on this doc. I'm going to put it in the YouTube comments and then you'll see it and you can edit the document with a comment.
Perfect.
I appreciate the thoroughness of this document. It starts off with who my elected officials are, and it starts with Donald Trump. So and then we work our way down from there.
Wow.
Or up, as it may be.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, we're
I'm about to hit a button. Are you all ready?
Yes, we're ready.
Yes, and also anyone in the comments, if you're about to hit that send button, let us know so we can celebrate you.
Yeah, tell us when you send. I'm about to email Governor Ducey. Here we go.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Did you do it? Did you do it?
I did it. I did it. It says
high-fiving 1,000 angels.
His office will review my message as soon as possible. Why, thank you, Governor.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
That's
boy, I've learned that my county legislature was a firefighter. There is a firefighter and paramedic since 1980. So may have some medical knowledge that may be useful in all this. This is cool. Yeah, I definitely did not think that this was my person. So this is good. I'm learning something.
I feel like we're all learning today. If anyone wants to put in what they're learning in the chat. I never do this, so I'm fascinated with the idea. You're like, just put it in the chat. I don't know. It's like such a YouTube thing, you know.
You've been on the other side of it so many times. And
I've been commenting in the chat. I mean, many thousands of times. I've been in 2 videos, but I watched 2 videos, but it was 1,000 times that I commented.
All right.
What is that little emoji? Is that a tree?
Hey, Anna.
Yeah.
Can you put the bit.ly maybe like at the bottom of the letter or something? It's hard to copy from the link because bit.ly does the thing where then it's not a bit.ly anymore.
Yeah. How about I make a comment on the thing that says recommendations?
I think that works.
Need a shorter link?
I'm not sure if we can see comments if we don't have edit access.
Oh, really? Do you see the change if you can't vote? Lord. Because it says when my friends and my family vote in November. If you're not voting, then you should change that. Here's the message from Hermione. Ends with a PS.
Perfect. That's exactly what we need.
To the PDF is. Wait 1 second. Wait 1 moment there. Paste without formatting. Perfect. I'm on air right now. Excuse me.
Welcome to the new world.
Excuse me.
Everyone will be famous for 15 minutes.
15
That changed with the internet. It's not that everyone will be famous for 15 minutes. It's that everyone will be famous to 15 people.
For 15 people?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Everyone will be bubble famous.
Bubble famous.
Yeah. I didn't make that 15 people quote up. Someone else did. And since we're all here on the internet, you all can Google who it was. Oh boy. Okay. I'm gonna I see him.
I know. I made him hand me my adult juice off screen.
You better be here.
As if that would mean that it wasn't happening and therefore everything is PG. I don't know what's happening.
The new virtual world is very it's really giving everyone a chance to get to know like their coworker and classmates' families in a way that just hasn't been done before. Because I have taken my kid to HPA stuff, but like I've never taken him naked to HPA stuff. But he's all over this house like that sometimes. So who knows what people are gonna see.
Hey, shout out to Ren.
Yeah.
Who in Discord has made a new version of the letter that I'm gonna drop underneath this letter. That is edited with all the stuff you have to edit if you like can't if it's just like a contact form and not an email. Which is super nice. I'm requesting edit access from one Anna Dardick.
Oh, that be.
We also have a question in the Discord about like who do you address it to if like all that you can find is something that's going to like the entire board of elections. And I would recommend I would recommend saying like, dear, members of the board of election or dear board members or something.
Yeah, that works. To whom it may concern. Sometimes I put that because it's funny to me. Honestly, they'll read right past it. So I wouldn't worry. I wouldn't worry too much about. Don't do anything offensive. But yeah, I think that.
Wait. We need a moment of celebration for Ren, who sent one to the governor.
Yeah.
I'm also seeing one for Tamara. Wait, is that also Ren?
Yeah, that's Ren. That's Ren.
Oh, I'm also seeing the same person.
Yeah.
Ren, fantastic job.
Well, I think we have another person also, which is Jamie has sent one in.
Oh,
So
you
we
did.
Yay.
I'm
so
so
we should
sorry,
do-
Jamie.
Yay!
Y'all, I have not.
Woo!
I just want to say, Governor Cuomo, I'm in New York City, y'all. I want to say a few things. The first is that I was allowed to choose mix as a salutation.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
Mhm. So, hats
Good.
off.
Mm-hmm.
The second is I have to fill in like a humongous amount of personal information,
Mm-hmm.
like
Go
my
ahead,
address, my
please.
phone number. He's gonna find me. Also, true
There's no way
story.
he doesn't already know
Andrew,
this.
Andrew Cuomo followed me on Twitter once. He was one of my followers, and I only had 200
Famous.
followers at the time.
Wow, the influence. How
Well,
many?
my organization endorsed his opponent for governor, and he, yeah, it was a little creepy, to be very honest. Also, then he unfollowed me after the election, which was rude.
That is super rude.
Absolutely no loyalty.
Absolutely no loyalty to following my every move.
So Andrew Cuomo is following 615 people, which is roughly how many people I'm also following. So my, what a level of influence you briefly had.
Yeah, I don't know. He must have been really confused. I mostly do not post, like, tweet things that he would be interested in, unless he like tweets jokes about Harry Potter, or, like, TV shows that he's watching.
Yeah, and I think that he expressed his disinterest when he. Oh,
shame.
Oh, that's funny. Do we have any like last minute like things we want to say, questions that need to be answered?
Yeah, if you have a last minute question, put it in the chat, or also like continue in the Discord. We'll send out an email with this information in it as well, and so you can always like respond to that email with questions. You know how to reach us. You can find us. we're a lot of places on the internet as the HBA. Reach out.
We've already gotten one, which is
Yes.
Anna Dardick. Do you have the email for the New York State Board of Elections, or can you help?
Do I personally? Yes, I can help you. I'm a little bit obsessed with New York boards of elections. They're basically appointed by the parties, and yeah, I can help you find that. I can help you find that right now. I think that what we should talk about while I'm helping.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can also share my screen and like how I would go about looking for it. But if we don't want to do that, because that's like a quest. I mean, people can join me on that quest, but if we don't want
that's a lot of wizard activists in New York. Like it could be.
Do you want me to show? Okay, I do not have.
What did you want to talk about? Tell us that.
Oh, other things that people can do in terms of like making sure you're registered to vote, making sure if there's vote by mail or absentee voting, that you're signed up for it, it's at the right address, that kinds of thing. For a lot of young people especially, they move around a lot. So it's really important to make sure that your address is accurate. Especially if you're going to get your ballot mailed there. If you get your ballot mailed to the wrong address, by the way, you can still vote. Go to your correct polling place and fill out a provisional, or you like miss it, like you can get a provisional ballot. You should definitely be registered to vote at your correct location, though. Only some states allow same day voter registration or changes. So check your address, people, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and really like kind of the best place to find that information is looking up like your you can look up your state board of elections and they'll have it. You can get like more granular and get your county board of elections or parish or wherever it is that you live.
There's also this Vote America has, like, if you scroll down, it's literally like every state. You just click on your voter registration or your absentee ballot, and you can also just check. So does vote.org. There are a lot of websites that have little widgets that help you and will help look it up. So
a widget sounds like a creature from Fantastic Beasts.
Mm-hmm.
It does. And in the comments, if you'll describe that creature, thank you.
Tell Tell
I'm
us
really
about
into
your
audience participation. Like, you know, when a speaker is like, everyone raise your hand if this or that or whatever, like, I live for those moments.
when they kick off and they're like, so we're gonna try some audience participation right now.
And you're like, I love when they're like, everyone stand up, who this, like, and then sit down if you whatever, and then what you're left with is like 2 people, and they're like, that's how many people, whatever it is. I mean, this is very generic, but I love. I'm like, I can see it in front of me.
I still remember in high school at our freshman orientation, they had us all sit in the like auditorium, and they said, everyone look to your left.
Oh my God, this is my. I'm sorry, that is actually my favorite. By the way, that is my favorite. Finish the story. This is my favorite thing that people ever say.
Where you just end up looking at all the backs of heads.
What did they say afterwards? Look to your left, look to your right, then what?
They said, look to your left, look to your right. One of those people will not be here when you graduate.
At one point, I made up this character who's like a surly law professor who's like, look to your left, look to your right. One of those people will eat the other by the end of the class.
I would read that. I'd read that fic.
Oh wait, Jamie's about to actually send it.
Oh good. Oh, did we
working on it before? What?
Oh. Yeah. Wait, I'm gonna share my screen. I love the look to your left.
Jamie, tell us when it's actually sent.
We're ready.
We're waiting.
While we're waiting for anybody, we're kind of, wrapping up here, but I do want to remind folks that there are all sorts of small things con. I named this thing and I say it wrong more than anyone else. Small Things Con programming happening throughout the weekend and into next week. We're still booking a couple of things. I'm really excited about some of the programs we have coming up. Tomorrow we have Quick Quotes Quill with Black Girls Create, which is going to be a writing workshop. So if you're feeling like, you were really feeling that tweet that was going around about like, remember Shakespeare wrote King Lear. Well,
what tweet was that?
Yeah. So if you're feeling like you have a King Lear, or even if maybe you just have like a good mini fanfic or like something in between, that's not a fair comparison though. There are a lot of fanfics I like better than King Lear. Anyway, that'll be a great workshop for you.
If you have a fanfic or maybe just a King Lear, you decide what you want to write.
Perfect.
Okay,
so it'll be really fun.
Okay. Jamie actually sent the thing.
Yay! Woo!
So I wanted to say for the New York State Board of Elections, this is what I would recommend. I would send it to the info right here. And then I would go to county boards. Go to your county. Let's say, for example, you live in New York County. You can go to email the New York County Board of Elections. And this is actually better, like county boards of elections. Sorry, I don't have Outlook and it's trying to open an Outlook, but it will open up an email for you. I want to exit the wizard. Okay. So I think that emailing your county board of elections is a really good way to go for New York City. The counties actually run a lot of the election stuff. It's just like there's also guidance for like bigger policy stuff that and emergency powers that the governor has that are in the recommendations PDF.
Nice.
Amazing.
So how many emails have we sent during this whole shebang?
I don't know, but I'm assuming a whole bunch.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like
at least 20.
Yeah, I would think
because
so.
People are also sending multiple.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and so the other thing is like, go ahead, we'll send an email about it, but like share with your friends and your family, and let's get the word out, because democracy.
This Bitly is like public. Feel free to tweet it out, share it out, send it around to people you know. All the instructions are in the deck.
Yeah, amazing. So we are going to wrap up here. Continue to come to Small Things Con. We have like fun, like we got leadership training. We got Dragon Prince watch party.
There's karaoke on Sunday.
Karaoke on Sunday, which I am just super excited to see the
What's your karaoke song, Katie? What's your like you don't you have a song that you're like, I'm gonna do this if I ever do karaoke? You know, like the next time.
I don't know.
I have to do it, because like I always forget once I'm there. Daniela, killing it.
Woo! Yay! Go Daniela.
And for a second one.
Killing it.
Thank you all so much. You're inspiring, just like getting to do this work with you. Keep at it.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Have an amazing night.
Night.
And we'll see you tomorrow at Small Things Con.
Nothing is impossible, Granger 2020.